Guys, it's your boy Cypher Providence back at it again with another YouTube review. Um, I just got through, or not just got through, this is post me watching and all that. But I recently just watched Behind the Mask by Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon, the next film on our horror movie marathon. And I have got to say, in genuine honesty, this is like so far my favorite film of the marathon that we've had. I really enjoyed this film. I saw this film and found out about it first from Dead Meat, and I was watching one of their videos where they do kill counts and everything. So I saw one of their videos, and I ended up really liking it from the kill count perspective. So I thought, you know what? Why not add this movie to the review so I could finally watch it for myself? And in doing so, I found that I really enjoyed this film. I really liked it. This was released in 2006. It's this movie is a mockumentary film. So it's like, it kind of just follows, it's like a documentary style film, hence the phrasing mockumentary, but it kind of like mocks and kind of highlights the horror franchise, a lot of its tropes and its verbiage and its wording, and then like things that go on in the films. And it follows this aspiring serial killer who's trying to become like the legends of his world, like Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger. Yep, they openly mention these characters. And then they like kind of like, I love how like they kind of interconnect basically every horror franchise into like one universe. At least in this character's universe, they kind of connect them by having it be like these people who are like, who made a name for themselves and made a presence. Like, they're real people, but their legends kind of spark out into being like, making them these entities or things, like Jason being like this relentless zombie killer, or how they like openly reference how there was a serial killer in on Elm Street that many theorize, or that made people think that he was so like his killings were so traumatizing or whatever that he could even haunt your dreams and shit. And I thought that was really cool. Like, they kind of had explanations for the supernatural elements of the films, but also had it to where they kind of explained as to like how, quote unquote, all these films would be connected and shit, which I really liked, even though they're not, aside from kind of Jason versus Freddy. But I just thought that was really cool to see. This film has a ton of like horror references and Easter eggs that I really enjoyed. Like, I really liked. There is this one scene where they show the jump rope girls from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They openly reference, as I said, Michael, Jason, Freddy. They reference Chucky as well. They some of the actors in this film are huge in the horror franchise, and that was really cool to see. Like, an example of this would be they give it a phrase, but I don't remember the phrase. But it is essentially like this investigator doctor dude. I think they call it like an Ahab. That's what it was. An Ahab is what they refer to it in the film. And it's like this, like, the ultimate good to the evil's ultimate bad or whatever. So it's like, that's the kind of the direction the character is and what they represent. And the actor who plays it is fucking Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, which I thought was really fucking cool. It was really cool to see Robert Englund playing this character and all that. It was really cool to see. All the characters and the entire cast was like fucking awesome. Like, I really liked everyone's character. Taylor Gentry, the main character in the film, is like an awesome protagonist to follow. I liked her and Leslie's Vernon's dynamic that they had going on. And then you also have characters like Dr. Halloran, aka the person that Robert Englund plays, and then Miss Collinwood, who's like this librarian that's only in the scene for like 5 minutes, but I liked her character so much that I added her to like the list. And then Eugene, the kind of mentor to Leslie Vernon's character. Like the whole cast, like honestly, there's a like those are like my highlight characters, but there's a bunch more characters that I really liked, like the camera dudes that are in this recording the whole like documentary thing that they're documentary video that they've been recording. Throughout the movie, we get like these really like these brief moments and sparks of seeing like how like truly terrifying or like scary Leslie could be, and how it could be like a switch, a snap, like a switch of a switch or whatever in him, where he could go from being like nice, cool, and chill to this terrifying like psycho killer, which is what he's trying to be. He's trying to be a serial killer, but the way the movie presents it and how it's like in the style of a documentary, you kind of forget that, and you kind of like relate to him, and you kind of like hope he can achieve his like achievements, but then in reality you're like, wait a minute, I'm kind of rooting for the bad guy. And then by the end of the film, or the middle-ish end, when like it seems like he might not be able to accomplish his dream of being like this huge serial killer thing, you kind of feel bad and you're like, damn, please don't let it end like that. But then he ends up achieving it, and you're like, yes. But then you realize, you're like, wait, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want at all, because I don't want him to be killer. And I thought that was really cool. Towards the ending portion of the film, though, this like gonna be my only real negative of this film. We get like this dramatization bit where they kind of like go over how the film would go if Leslie were to become a serial killer. And then it's like kind of like it kind of drags you out of it a little bit. It's kind of weird, but despite that, I thought it was really good. And then like even then, most of it, while still kind of happening and like it following through, even though the characters should know how to go about it and how to prevent all these kills from happening or whatever, they still do it in like slightly different ways, in which is like, okay, it's believable that even though the characters knew how it was supposed to end and how like he was gonna get to here or do or go about doing this, it makes sense that he still wound up killing someone in this way or something happening in that way. Also throughout the film, aside from them like doing the documentary with Leslie and tracking him and everything, they track how he's like trying to like get this how he's trying to basically get his characters and set pieces and everything going and whatnot. And he in doing that, they end up picking out like this final girl character that ends up that he ends up like kind of like following the most out of everyone. And so this whole film, you think that she's gonna be the final girl or whatever, and that our main cast of characters is kind of gonna stop him, or try and stop him, but she's still gonna be the main focus and final girl of the film. But they do switch or whatever, and it ends up being Taylor, the main documentary lady who's been recording this and asking him all these questions and bonding with him over the documentary. It ends up being her, and I thought like the twist for it was really good, and I really liked it. Also, to add on to that, to switch from documentary or mockumentary to like an actual horror film was nice, as like basically after that whole dramatization bit where they kind of go over how the film would and should go based off of all this planning that he's been doing and all his strategy that he's been talking about the film. and trying to become this horror legend icon and trying to follow in the footsteps of all these other horror killers. Uh, they end up like switching with like a camera shot and everything, switching from the documentary to the film, which I really liked and thought that was really nice. And yeah, that's basically like my basic one throughout the whole film. I really like this film. I like how like it was a deconstruction kind of how horror movies would go in a documentary style video, while also like in universe it's a documentary style video, while also then on top of that being an actual horror film, which is really cool to see, and I really enjoyed that. And on top of that, I also heard that it like there was talks that it was like potentially gonna get a sequel, and I think it deserves a sequel. It really does deserve a sequel. I would really love to see this film getting a sequel because the ending post-credit scene or whatever you would like to call it, they show like how this would be able to be getting a sequel and stuff. And I think that with the right budget and with hopefully similar or the same actors, we could end up getting a sequel, and I would really be down to see that. And I would support the fuck out of it if it were to be getting a sequel. And yeah, with that out of the way, that's my review. Overall, I'd give this movie like a 9 out of 10. Honestly, no. For the first time on this review marathon shit, this film is going to get a 10 out of 10. It is obviously, no film is perfect and no film is flawless, but for my preferences of films and all that, I think this film just deserves a 10 out of 10 for me at least. I really like the film. I really like the style of it and how they went about like discussing the horror tropes and all that, while also still like not doing it in a way where it was like painfully obvious that they were like doing it like just for the sake of like trying to like just doing it for doing it. I liked how this was like they weaved it into like both the story and how like it's a documentary, so obviously they're gonna do like some exposition shit, but it makes sense because it is a documentary. And then I like how it ultimately ends up switching to an actual horror film at the end of this. And so yeah, overall 10 out of 10 film for me. Really liked it, and I hope like some of you guys end up watching this film and really enjoying it for yourselves, because this is like one of my favorite horror films of all time, by far. And I want more people to go out of the way to see it, and maybe hoping end up liking it as much as I did. And yeah, with that out of the way, we're done with this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Socials at the end of the video, as always. With that out of the way, peace. Stay pimpin', pimps.